Hey guys, today I thought I would film a video for you about the Face Awards. If you didn't know, I was one of the top 6 contestants of the NYX Face Awards in 2016, and I thought it would be cool if I did a video where I was answering a lot of frequently asked questions or tips and tricks for people wanting to enter the Face Awards. I have entered before and did not make it, and last year I happily made it. I've got a lot of information, a lot of things that I've wanted to talk to people about the Face Awards and my experience with it and recommendations that I have. So I asked you guys to ask me on Instagram if you had any questions, and we're gonna go see what you guys want to know about the Face Awards 2017. A couple of bullet points. The Face Awards entries are going on now until April 28th. I believe they started on April 3rd. So you've had all this time and now you've only got until the 28th. That means is that you need to send in a submission video. In that video, you are sending in a video that you made of a makeup look. It can be special effects, can be avant-garde, can be beauty makeup. It doesn't have to be this huge, crazy, insane special effects makeup if that's not what you're used to, if that's not what you're good at. Do something that reflects your best work, and we're gonna get a lot more into that soon. But go to faceawards.com. By the way, this video is not sponsored at all. I just wanted to do this. Go to faceawards.com and they have all of the rules in the rules and regulations section of everything on there. So if there's a question that you have that I don't answer and it's rule related, like can I do blank in my entry video, you should check there because that goes through everything that you're gonna need to know. I'm just gonna kind of cover the highlights and the roundabout things. Again, you need to get your videos submitted on faceawards.com by April 28th. So I'm gonna go through some of the questions on my Instagram and see what you guys want to know. One of you asks, is there a guide you follow or are you free to create whatever looks? For your entry video, which is the video that you submit to NYX by the 28th, where you are wanting to get into the Face Awards, there will be 30 people chosen out of the thousands of entries that go in. Don't let that deter you. I never thought I would make it, so if that tells you anything. Initially, you're going to send in your submission video. And now when I talk submission video, which is a lot of what I'm gonna be discussing here, those can be whatever look you want. There is no guideline. They can be something, again, it can be special effects, it can be body paint, it can be avant-garde, it can be beauty makeup, it can be whatever you want it to be. And that is the important thing to note, is that you just need to use your creativity and your mind because you need to know what best reflects you and the work that you can do. Once you make it into the top 30, they will announce that I think on like May 1st. The top 30 are given challenges then that they need to do. So basically with our year, once you make it in the top 30, you get an email and a call from NYX. They tell you, hey, you've made it in, congratulations. What's your address? What's your information? They start sending you makeup. And then once you make it, the challenges are announced at given points on their YouTube channel. And like for our first challenge, it was fairy tale. And then you make a video based on fairy tale. There are rules and regulations and things like that. And once you make it into the competition, NYX will let you know all of that. But initially, to start off with your first video, you can do whatever you want. Another question is, do the items I use for my entry video need to be NYX? Does the video need to be my best tutorial or showing my work? I'm a little lost and scared. No, you do not need to use all NYX products in your entry video, from what I understand. I'm not sure, and you'd have to check the rules on whether or not you can say the names of other products, but I believe for your entry video, it doesn't have to be NYX specific. I'm not 100% sure on that. I made mine specific to NYX and said things like, now I'm taking a white body paint. I didn't say now I'm taking a Mayron Paradise paint. And when you're in the competition, you only need to be talking about NYX products. But for your initial entry video, and you may want to double check the rules on this, but I believe you do not need to use all NYX products because you're not in the NYX Face Awards yet, essentially. Do you see what I'm saying? So, and you don't even have to make it a public video. I think this is something that people think you have to do, and I think this is a common misconception. When you make your video and submit it into the top 30, I see a lot of people doing this, and I really don't know why. They'll put the Face Awards logo in their video and be like, submission, Face Awards 2017. You don't have to do that because you're not in the Face Awards yet, and you don't have to make a specific submission video for the Face Awards. I submitted mine anonymously. So I made my video, I posted it to my YouTube channel, and it was a public video, but I didn't say in there, submission, Face Awards 2016. I didn't do that for a couple of different reasons. Number one, I don't know if I'm in it yet, and that video is going to stay up on my channel. Number two, if I didn't make it, I didn't want to feel embarrassed that I didn't make it, and then everyone knew I was entering. So that's why a lot of people are like, you didn't even enter the Face Awards. Yes, I did. I didn't go out there and say, I'm entering the Face Awards. I did my video, I sent it into NYX, and then I carried on living my life. So that's, I think, a big misconception, and people are like, 1 like equals 1 vote. No, it does not. It means nothing. When you send your videos in, NYX will choose them for the initial top 30. Once you make it into the top 30, then it's based on public vote. When you send the video in on faceawards.com, doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, it doesn't matter how big your channel is, how small your page is, that doesn't matter. It's based on your artistry and your video production, and there is a judging criteria that they use. So you want to, honestly, you don't need to worry about followers, and you don't need to worry about all that shit, because a lot of times people are like, I only have 11 followers, I can't enter. But you're the best artist ever. Absolutely you can enter. How else are you supposed to get your name out there if you don't try? I would, yes, have a good tutorial portion in there as well, because again, there is criteria that you need to meet that the judges are looking for. So I would have an awesome intro. I would have really good explanations. I would explain the tutorial well, and then I would outro it. Do it like a typical traditional YouTube video, and you can put your own flair and your pizzazz in there, but I think a tutorial portion is important, because what the Face Awards is you are trying to compete to be Beauty Vlogger of the Year. So you have to prove that you can be that. Another question is, I'm having a hard time thinking of what I want to do, but I want to enter. Does it have to be a special effects type thing? Again, no, it does not have to be some crazy special effects tutorial. I think that that helps your odds in a way. You don't have to like get out latex and get all this crazy stuff going on. That stuff's cool though, and people like to see that, and they want to see you try hard. And I think that's another thing that a lot of people do. I see people's looks going in, and I think they're doing what they think people want to see. Do what you think is cool. When I entered, I used my UV neon skeleton look. I've always wanted to use UV paints. I've always wanted to do a really cool detailed skeleton, which I don't even, that's not even that detailed now that I look at it. And I wanted to do something that was striking and eye-catching and would catch the judges' attention. That's what was important to me. I thought, if I need to stand out from the crowd, what do I do? How about UV paint? And so that's where I went. And is that a NYX product? No, because it was my entry video. And I didn't say I'm using UV Glow brand paint. I just said, now using blacklight paint, I'm going to paint on, you know, skeleton, yada yada. If you guys want to, you can watch that video for reference. That was the video that I made it into the top 30. You know, things may have changed. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen, but if you guys are looking for sort of a rough idea of what I sent in, that's what I used. And I think that, no, you don't have to do special effects, but I feel like your chances are higher the more you do. Now, you don't need to go overboard and buy, you know, $5,000 worth of stuff and like create this entire set, but you also don't want to just do a brown smoky eye and expect that to be enough. And I'm not saying that beauty makeup isn't awesome. It's just, this is the Face Awards, and this is a lot of the times the reality of the situation is, now that I've been in it, I see that if when in the competition you don't do something super body paint related, people want to see that, and that's sort of what the Face Awards have become. The first year, second year, and even third year, it was a lot more beauty related and a little bit of painting thrown in there. Now it's pretty much full on body paint special effects. If you look at last year's submissions, people that didn't do that or kind of played it on the safer side, people were like, what the hell is this? What's this shitty look? And they're not shitty looks, they're actually beautiful. It's just that people love a lot and drama, and they want to see that you worked really hard, and that really does pay off. And as shitty as that is, that you can't kind of just stick to the classics anymore. I mean, you can, but I'm just being really honest with you. I don't want to give you some bullshit thing like, do you do you. That's not going to help you in this situation. What's actually going to help you is to know I spent hours on each video, and some of those videos took me weeks to do. And I'm not saying you need to do that, but that you need to be prepared that if you make it in, you're in it for the long haul. You should be wanting to try that hard, because it's a big deal. This question is, how did you come up with the right ideas? For my submission video, to hopefully make it into the top 30, again, I wanted to do something that was striking and beautiful and haunting. I always thought hauntingly beautiful. That's never a bad thing. And so those are the kind of things that I kept in my mind when I was thinking about what I wanted to do for my submission video. They will give you the themes for the next rounds if you do make it into the top 30, 20, 12, and then 6. You don't need to worry about those as much, but to come up with my ideas, you brainstorm with your friends, look at reference photos, look at different artists and artwork and techniques, and think about what you can execute. test it out, try out the makeups, do your best job possible. Not saying that you shouldn't film with your phone, but I know a lot of times you see people and they're like, you don't need to buy fancy equipment. You don't need crazy cameras. You can film with your phone. You can film with your webcam. Yeah, you can. You can. But I don't want that to hinder you, and I'm not saying you need to go out and buy $1,000s worth of equipment. There's a lot of things you can do with lighting and your setup to make your overall production quality higher. Don't just stick with what you already know and expect that to get you, to further you in the competition. For me, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, I'm giving you the reality of the situation. I researched and researched and researched and researched, and I spent countless hours and time figuring out how can I make my editing better? How can I get cool transitions? If you look at my initial video, did I actually walk around on a day where there was lightning outside? No, I didn't. I bought a filter in Final Cut Pro from Pixel Film Studios, and I used that to mock lightning. Did I know how to use that initially? No. I had to learn, and I had to figure it out, and I had to do cool transitions, and I had to find ways to do things that were different from my initial videos. And if you look at my videos before that one, I had never done a video of that quality before. I had never done anything like that. That was my first ever video where I spent a long time editing and used different editing techniques and plugins for Final Cut. And those are things that I'm gonna tell you are important. You should be researching how to be a better filmmaker. I know you're not a filmmaker necessarily if you're a YouTuber, but the things I learned in the Face Awards, oh man, have they translated into now. I did 31 Days of Halloween after that, and my videos were just so much better quality, and you learn so much. And I say push yourself. I don't want you to, kill yourself over it. I don't want you to, work so hard that you feel like you're not sleeping or that you're so stressed out. But don't just take the easy way out because it's the easy way. Do your best work that you possibly can. If it doesn't look good the first time, do it again and spend time editing. And when you think it's done, have your friend come over and watch it and tell them, give me constructive criticism. Tell me if it's cringy. That was the number one thing I didn't want for my videos. I would play it for like 50 different people and I would be like, tell me if it's cringy. If you cringe at all, let me know. Tell me if the intro's too long. Tell me if the video sounds dumb. Tell me if the music is good. This is legit what I did. I would call all my family over and I'd be like, okay, watch it and tell me exactly what you think and don't be afraid to hurt my feelings. And they would tell me and they would give me feedback, and their feedback was invaluable to me because they were right. They'd be like, ooh, that clip is too long and it felt like you lingered too long and it made me feel uncomfortable a little bit. I'd be like, okay, and then I would shorten it down. I would re-edit it, and then I would have them look at it and they'd be like, okay, that's so much better. The cringe is gone, because I never want my videos to be cringy. And I look back on some of my videos, shit, I even privated one today. Oh my God, it was the cringiest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Woo, girl. And that's the thing. This is gonna come off really, really, really harsh, and I don't want it to at all. But some things seem like they might be a cool idea, but they're a little cringy. And you don't want that factor in your videos. You want people to watch it, and sometimes less is more in the way of like talking, if you ask me. If you look at all of my Face Awards videos, I'm not saying mine were the best or anything. I never want to come off that way. Purely, literally don't feel that way about myself. I think that so many of the contestants did incredible videos, incredible jobs, oh my God. But for me personally, all I can tell you is about my experience, and I didn't talk in any of my intros of any of my videos. And I did that purposefully. I wanted to use the art and video production to explain a story to you without needing words to do so. And when you're watching it, you can see that that's the case. Like with my White Witch, it's a long ass intro, but it tells a story and it explains to you what's going on without needing words. I didn't have to be like, once there was a queen of the land. She ate children to get their, you know what I mean? I didn't have to go through all of that. I showed you all of it instead. And yeah, it's a lot of work, and yeah, it's pretty intense, and it took a lot of editing. I think my Life Is video, which was my final Face Awards video, took me, realistically, if I'm being completely honest with you, took me a week and a half to film and edit. They give you about 2 weeks to do that when you're in the Face Awards, but it took me about that long. And that is because I went to filmed on different locations, but taking that time, I'm not saying it's the reason that I made it into the Face Awards, but I think it really helped my chances, that when people see the quality and they see the hard work that you put in and they see that you tried really hard, that stuff means a lot to people, especially the people that are going to be voting for you in the next rounds. That was a tangent. Oh, coming up with the right ideas, man, I really just got off on a tangent there. I remember too, when I was coming up with my idea for the Life Is, which was the optical illusion challenge, I think it took me 5 whole days to come up with that concept before I nailed one down. down. And I remember I was beside myself. I started to cry and I got really upset because I was like, I'm not gonna come up with a good idea. I don't wanna do something that everyone else is gonna do. I wanna do something totally different. I wanna have a concept that's different. And I went and I took a bath and I put some lavender in it and I relaxed and I put on super relaxing music and I sat there with my notepad. I still have a whole notepad. It's like my Face Awards one and it's got all the different ideas that I ever had for the Face Awards in it. And I sat there with my notepad and I just closed my eyes and I thought, think bitch, think. You have creativity in there, use it. And I thought life is, and I don't know why I thought that. It just popped into my head, but I think sometimes that's kind of the way things happen. And I started writing down things that life is, and I wrote down hard and difficult and awesome and funny and beautiful and, you know, sad and lonely. And I started writing down all these different words, and then I started equating a makeup look to each individual word. And that's how I came up with life is. Be a play on words and have a different optical illusion for each. And optical illusion, when you typically hear it, you think of like black background, disappearing neck and stuff, which those are cool as shit. Don't get me wrong. Those are awesome. But I wanted to take it in a completely different direction because I knew that's what people would expect of me. And I think doing that is really smart because you never know what anybody else in the competition is going to be doing. But you want to make sure that you're not doing something that everybody else is going to be doing, because if you hear princess is the theme, you think of all the princesses. And those are probably the ones you shouldn't do, because those will be the ones that everybody else also thought of. It's really tough, and coming up with an original idea and a cool intro and getting people to feel something, that's really, really important. And I felt that with my videos. I wanted, when you watched my fairy tale video, I wanted it to take you somewhere. I wanted you to see the beauty of this little girl, and she was running through the woods and she was so beautiful, and then she comes upon this creepy lady and you're like, what the fuck, bitch? And then the lady takes her, and then you're like, where's this bitch taking her? And then, oh my god, this crazy witch bitch. And then when you finally see her after she's taken the youth of this child and she's her final form, I wanted you, when you finally did see the white witch, for you to be like, fuck yes! I want it to be one of those moments. And they give you a list of music you can choose from when you finally do make it. That was the hardest and longest part for me of any of parts of any of the video making, was choosing the right music. And I think it is so important. If you take the wrong music and you put it over a really cool clip, it can ruin everything. And that's something to keep in mind. Now for me, the song that I ended up using, you know what I'm talking about, the one for the White Witch. And that song, when I finally found it, it clicked and I was like, this is the song. And I sat it and I downloaded it and I put it in there, and it was perfect. And I think that this is where don't take the easy road comes into play. You may hear a first song, you might be like, fuck it, let's just use this one. Perfect, good, done. And that might be to your detriment. It might not. Maybe you'll make it all the way without needing to, you know, throw as much time and effort and stress and worry as I did into it. But I think that it made me a way better YouTuber. It made me a better artist. It made me a better video maker. And it just all around made me gave me a better work ethic. Honestly. This question said, when you are given a challenge, what if you have too many ideas? How do you personally narrow down all the different ideas you have? That really wasn't a problem for me. It was getting an idea that was a problem, because you think you have too many ideas initially. You're gonna be like, oh my god, I'm gonna be able to think of so many things. I remember this when 2015 Face Awards was going on. I remember watching it and they would announce the challenge and be like paranormal activity, and I'd be like, I've got so many ideas. I don't know why these guys didn't do it. As soon as you're in it and you're actually the one that's needing to do these challenges, all ideas you once thought you have are gone. It's so different because you also think, well, I have this idea. Is someone else gonna do this idea? And that may not seem like a big deal if you and someone else do something super similar. It almost takes away from the shock and awe of your video if somebody else or 2 or 3 other people have done it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think I'm entering again. I am not entering the Face Awards again. I had an amazing experience. It was a time of my life. It was incredible. I would do it again if I thought that it was a good idea. For me, I had an incredible time, and I want 30 other people to have that incredible time. Other people need to fill those positions. I've had my time. I had the Face Awards fun. I got to be in the top 6. Had I not made it to the top 6, I would enter again. But I did. I made it all the way to the end, and no, I did not win, but I made it to the end and I got the experience. And I will be at the Face Awards this year, but I will not be in the Face Awards. But I will be there. Whoever does make it to the top 6, or whoever goes to the Face Awards, I'm gonna be there. We can meet. I'm so excited. So there's that. But no, I will not be entering. I know a lot of people are like, I can't wait to see what you do this year. I'm like, oh, but I'm not doing anything, so This person says, where do you purchase your backdrops from and what device do you use to film? My backdrops that I do when they're just a solid color are actually just twin-sized sheets from Walmart. I like to pay as little as I possibly can for my backgrounds. I don't want to spend $50 on some piece of fabric or on some piece of paper. Right now I'm just sitting in my living room, so that's this background. I am filming on a Canon 80D and I have a Sigma 18 to 55 millimeter f1.8 lens on, which gives me that really nice blurry background. The 1.8 is what gives you the nice blurry background, and it also lets a lot of light in because that's the aperture. These are all things I learned during Face Awards time, by the way, and after, so I've only gotten better. Right now how I film, I have a ring light right here and I also have a ring light right over here lighting my background so that my background's light also, so that I'm not sitting in kind of like a dark cavernous area. Ring lights are an excellent thing to invest in if you are looking for lighting. The only lighting I have on me right now is just the natural light from the room, my ring light in front of me, and that one behind me. Actually, this is the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter f1.8 lens. I thought it was 55. You don't have to do any of that though. You don't need to feel discouraged that if you don't have incredible equipment that you can't make it. It does probably increase your chances because everybody likes to watch shit in HD. That's just the way life is. It's 2017. We like to watch things crisp and clear and well lit, and that stuff you should look into, research and look, because there's a lot of information out there. Eventually one day I will make a video on my setup and explain everything and kind of go through my knowledge, even as minimal as that is. If you have friends with good equipment, maybe ask to borrow it for the competition, or if you have ways to get good lighting, all this stuff means a lot, and Best Buy has a credit program. Not saying you should put stuff on credit. Don't hold me to this. I don't want anybody to go into debt, but this is what I did, and people are asking what I did. I edit my videos on Final Cut Pro X. And I download any plugins you see, like any cool transitions that are different than what comes stock with the program, or any lettering, or any titles, or any cool little effects. All those things are purchased additions from Pixel Film Studios. I also think it's really important when you finally do make it into the competition to promote yourself. You need to tell people and remind people to vote. They can vote 3 times per email address per day, I believe. You need to remind them of that fact. And I know it's kind of spammy and annoying, but during the Face Awards, people will forget if you don't remind them. And if you want the votes, you need to be like, hey guys, just a reminder, make sure you go vote for the Face Awards. And a lot of people aren't inclined to want to do it, so make it easy for them. Put the voting link in your bio of your Instagram page, tweet out the link, put the link on your Facebook page. All you have to do is go click, sign in, and vote for you. And it's hard to get people to actually follow through, but if they know how important it is to you, they'll follow through. Voting will be on faceawards.com once the competition starts. They'll explain everything. Once it all goes through, you guys should just know that's when voting, starts and everything like that, but it'll all be explained as the competition goes on. When you do make it into the competition, you get boxes of makeup from NYX, which is so awesome. I still have a ton of it, and it has helped me out so much. And again, all the rules are on the website, so you need to go through that if you want to know, what makeup and stuff like that you can use. Oh, I've had this question a lot too, of what music you can use for your submission video. Copyright free, so you just need to make sure that it's under Creative Commons license, NCS or no copyright sounds. All of their music is copyright free, and they are a YouTube channel. You can download their music from each individual video. So if you're looking for non-copyrighted music, that's what you can use in your initial submission video to hopefully make it into the top 30. There are other non-copyrighted songs, but that's a good one if you just really don't have any other place to go. A lot of it's electronic, kind of dubstep, kind of that sort of music, but they do have a little different music if you're not really into that. They have different playlists on their page that you can go to and check it out, but that's what you need to use for your video. I know when you look in the rules it says that music needs to be provided by the sponsor. That is when you make it into the competition that music needs to be provided by the sponsor. For your initial submission video right now, to make it into the top 30, it can be non-copyrighted music. This person says, do you know if Canadians can enter? I believe it is the US and Canada. Again, you should check the website, but I do believe that this contest is US and Canada. There are Face Awards competitions in a ton of other countries, so if you're from another country than the United States or Canada, you should just go look and see what's going on. But I believe a lot of those competitions are already going on, but you should check on your own country. This question says, what happens after you make the top 30? Well, they will call you on the day of. I think I got a call around noon, I literally wanted to shit my pants and die because it was the most exciting thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. I really didn't think I was gonna make it. I'm a self-doubter, and I hate to say I'm like a pessimist, but I'm kind of a realist in that way where I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. Like, there are thousands of entries, there's no way I'm gonna make it. And when I did, they called me, and I believe they sent over an email, you know, congratulating me, like, you made it in the Face Awards, and then they get your information, they send out makeup, and they get the ball rolling, and then it's so exciting. Like, when you finally are in the Face Awards, oh my god, it's so exciting. And I also wanted to let you guys know, don't be discouraged if you don't make it. There are thousands of entries, and only 30 people can make it. And so that doesn't mean that you're a shitty artist or you have a shitty video if you didn't make it. That's not what that means. Don't let it make you really upset and like send you into a spiral. It happened to me the first year. I did not make it when I first submitted my video in 2015. I didn't make it, and it made me really upset. But you need to know that if there was 31 amazing entries, they still had to pick 30. If there was 70, they still have to pick 30. And so don't be discouraged if other people made it over you. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. It sucks. Try again next year. How long does it take for me to do a look? My neon UV skeleton took me around 9 hours to film. Filming takes a lot longer than if you were just sitting down doing the makeup alone. Plus, I didn't have a vision for it. I have a full playlist on my channel, by the way, if you want to look at all my Face Awards entries and videos and unboxings and, you know, the final videos and things like that. Those are all up there in a playlist on my channel if you guys want to look at all of that. Yeah, I would say each look, like my Ghost in the Shell look, probably took me 7-8 hours to film. And that doesn't include any of the, it just took me to do the body paint that long. And that's because I was being really meticulous about it and spending some freaking time. I wanted the looks to be clean, and you know, I spent a lot of time shading and making sure they looked good on camera and in person. And that doesn't include the time it took me to film intro shots. Once you're in the makeup, then you have to film all your intro shots and your close-ups of the makeup and take all your photos, and it's a lot of work. And I don't want anyone to think like it's gonna be easy. It is not easy. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, one of the most rewarding things I've ever done, but also it was difficult, and it took a lot of time and a lot of staying up really late and working really hard. Was it worth it? Absolutely. This person says, questions. It's called Beauty Vlogger of the Year. If someone isn't good at makeup and vice versa, what if they aren't good at SFX or body painting? Doesn't matter. Just do your best job. I think that they say you don't need to be good at, you know, SFX or body painting. I think the competition's kind of leaning more that way, just the way things are going in the competition, but do your best then. If you aren't good at that, do your best beauty makeup you've ever done. Like, make it amazing, add more. I mean, just do the best job you possibly can. That's all you can do. You can only do the best that you can do. So do that. Number 2, if someone doesn't have a good camera, just an iPhone, is it possible to still film something worthy? Definitely don't use the front camera of your phone. That makes it a lot more difficult because then you can't really see yourself in there. I'm not saying that you can't do it. It does make it more difficult. You can still try, and you don't need to buy all this crazy equipment. Does it make it better if you have it? Of course it does. But that goes for everything. Like, is a movie better when it's filmed with professional cameras? Of course it is. If that's what you have, then work with what you have. Just do the best with the equipment that you do have. So if that means all you have is an iPhone, well, use your back camera, set up a mirror behind it, make sure the lighting looks really good, make sure your background looks really good, that you're getting good clean shots of the makeup and the techniques and application. Your voiceover sounds crisp without a lot of pops of the microphone. That's all stuff that's really important. So yeah, you definitely can. It's just, it will be harder, but I mean, hey, it's a challenge. How important are editing skills? I find that they are important. If you don't know how to edit, well, what a better time to learn. All you can do is try. That's all I can suggest to you, is that you can try. Again, I didn't know shit my first year. I didn't know much my second year, but I did it and I tried and I made it. And you learn as you go. And again, don't just rely on the fact, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just gonna wing it. Research, like there's Google for a reason. We all, you know, just do your best. Do your best and don't make excuses. I'm not trying to be harsh. I know that sounds kind of harsh, but it's true. When it comes to voting, is it just a popularity contest? Yes and no. It's up to voting. So depends. If your makeup look is worthy of being voted for, people will vote for it. I had one of the smallest followings in the competition and I still made it to the top 6. And I think that's because I worked really fucking hard. I worked really hard to get where I got. And even with a smaller following, I still made it. So no, it isn't always a popularity contest. I made it and some people with over, a million or 2 million followers didn't. And I'm not to say that they are shitty or anything like that. It's just to say that sometimes people will go to the website and they'll go to faceawards.com and they went there to vote for somebody else, and then they see the work of you and they're gonna be like, ooh, I actually kind of want to vote for her. Look how cool that makeup look was, or his makeup look was awesome. And yeah, I went to vote for this person, but these people have 3 votes and they might use one of those 3 votes on you, or they might love what you did and actually didn't really like the person they initially went to vote for and then vote all on you. So keep that in mind. Essentially, yeah, it's a popularity contest in the way of whoever gets the most votes makes it to the next round. But I did not have the most followers by any means. I think when I was in the Face Awards, I had like 16,000 Instagram followers or something like that, which sounds like a lot, but on the grand scheme of things, there were people in there with like 900,000. So if that kind of gives you any perspective, and I still made it. So that's something to keep in mind. If you enter but don't make it in, can you enter again? Next year you could, but you don't get to enter again this year. Would you make it to top 6 but don't win? Can you enter again? I mean, yes, you can. Actually, like Erin Timoney, Fresh Blush, she was in the competition in 2013 or 14 and then made it again in 2015, and she was in the top 6 both times. So yes, you can. I wouldn't personally do that. That's just me. I would feel weird about being in the top 6 twice. Like if you know what I'm trying to say? I don't know. That's just me. Where did you find most of the inspiration for your Face Awards looks? I would look at art on Pinterest. I would look up different body painting. I would look up face charts. I would talk to my friends. We would look at different fairy tales or whatever the things was, like with Ghost in the Shell. I don't watch anime, so I had to look at things that I thought were doable for me, that I didn't want to do this traditional anime eyes and beauty looks. I wanted to go a totally different route with it. And so I'm not kidding you guys. I was really, really weird about it. I would just sit there for hours and hours on end and like research and research and research. You have this base thing and then come up with kind of a storyline of how your video is going to go and kind of storyboard it in your head. Like, how is it going to start? How is this going to go? Like, what things do I need to film? Like, especially for my fairy tale, there were things I needed to do on specific days. Like when I was dressed as the old haggery witch, I had to put that cloak on, and then I had to get Avery in her dress and I had to film beautiful shots of her. And then before the sun went down, I need to make sure that she runs up to me, drops the flower, and then we get a shot of her walking up to me. I pull out the cupcake. These are all separate shots. She reaches in and grabs the cupcake, and we have 2 different shots of that in different angles. And this is all stuff you need to take into consideration. So kind of storyboard it out and have an idea of what your videos and intro and all that stuff's going to be like, and then execute it. Question: how long have I been doing makeup? Since 2012, I think, but really realistically, I've only been putting in like effort into my makeup since like 2015. Before that, I was just kind of wishy-washy and just kind of doing it for funsies. It says here Quebec can't enter for some reason. That's, again, you should read the rules if it comes to Canada. Do you know if you have to make a commentary tutorial? Like, how vague can it be? Should not be vague. It should have a cool intro, show the makeup look and all that kind of stuff, and then it should have a good explanatory tutorial, I think, where you're explaining what you're doing and how other people can achieve it as well. That's the way I did it. It worked for me, so I think it would work for you. Those are the only questions that I currently see on my Instagram. I think that's the main thing. I don't know if you guys have any other questions. I'm not sure what you guys really want to know, but all I can tell you is do your best. Read the rules, follow the rules, pay attention to all that kind of stuff, promote yourself well, don't worry about what everyone else is doing, don't stress. If you don't make it, you don't make it. And if you do make it, fuck yeah. That's the best that I can give you. If you guys have any other questions that I did not answer, ask them in the comments of this video and I will try to answer them as best I can. Also, I will link my playlist for my Face Awards videos in the description of this so that you guys can take a look at them if you want to see what I did and sort of how I told the story without words. I think sometimes too, I see a lot of intros, and this is gonna come off harsh again, but I'm just being honest. I don't wanna give you advice that's not helpful to you. Like, do you? That's not helpful advice at all. I would say that an intro I think can be fine but needs to not be too long is this. Posing is awesome and we want to see the makeup look, but I saw a video the other day that was 3 solid minutes of the person posing. That is too long. It's too long. Do cool intros and show the makeup look in cool different ways, different settings and stuff like that. But this person was just sitting in front of a backdrop, just posing for like 3 solid minutes. And I think, again, this goes back down to ask your friends and family and tell them to be honest with you. You don't want a bunch of yes men on your team. You want people that are going to be critical and honest with you, that say, that was a little too long, or that made me cringe, and those things are harsh to hear, because I remember when my husband would be like, that's cringy, babe. And I was like, no, it's not. And I would rewatch it with a skeptical eye and say, is that cringy? And yeah, some of it was. That's the best that I can tell you. I hope that this was in any way helpful for you. Again, everybody's got their own process. Everyone's got their own way that they do things. My answers may be different to other people, and just because I said it doesn't mean it's fact. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you are not yet, you should subscribe to my YouTube channel. I put up new videos all the friggin' time. I also did 31 Days of Halloween. If you guys are interested in special effects looks, or you want some inspiration, or you want to see some different things, I will link that playlist as well. I do beauty looks, special effects, body paint, face paint, etc. So subscribe. It's fun here. We talk about bullshit and do makeup, and it's fun. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you at my next video.